Hello everybody. I just spent like 15 minutes recording a video where apparently my microphone stopped working, and so I have to start from the top. Yay. I told a story about how this was getting fucked over in the mail because they were like, you gotta sign for it, and then they allegedly gave it to an individual who wasn't me, and none of my neighbors or my roommates had it. But then immediately after I had to call on the phone, they said that it was available for pickup. I'm going to truncate that story, but basically, please, check out my coffee, subscribe, and check out the first video on this Carlo. I got this Carlo from Daniel Leonard, and what's really cool about this Carlo is that there's only two of them that exist. It was designed by Ross, last name I'm not sure, but I know that he knows Major Rallis because a lot of times Major Rallis sells his knives, and I think Ross has a DMC. This is what a stock DMC looks like. He had a Hazetac DMC that was custom with this pattern, I think. I think it's the Vergil Carlo, and he has his own Vergil DMC, which is a play on Devil May Cry, because if you don't know the Devil May Cry video game series, the main character is Dante, but he also has a brother named Vergil who's playable, and then there's another character named Nero. I've never played, that's a lie, I played one of them, and I chickened out of the first one. Anyways, this Balisong was designed by Ross. It is a Hazetac knife. The Carlo is named after John Carlo, and this one was designed by John Carlo. So, designed by John Carlo, made by Hazetac, redesigned by Ross, Cerakoted by Major Rallis, and then tuned and assembled by Jesus. I believe that there's something slightly wrong. I think it's that these mismatch, and I'm not really sure if that's the case. It's the same on both sides. I find that this grip is surprisingly kind of coarse, whereas these are all like really smoothly machined. This one weighs like 4.42 ounces. This one weighs 4.3 ounces. The biggest reason why that is because of a speed channel. This one's got a speed channel, which also greatly affects the sound. As you can see, here's a similar speed channel, albeit it's a slightly different one on the DMC. The jimping's also very similar, and surprisingly the DMC is 4.2, I want to say it was. It was like surprisingly close. I thought this was going to be lighter. Anyways, let's flip. Here's a control. Hello, focus please. Here's the control flip sound test. I find that this Balisong is very neutral. Despite being 4 almost 5, I think it's... Oh, I think this one's 4 What is the focus doing? Holy shit. Hello? This one I think is... Here, let me just reweigh it. This one... 4.48. This one, the custom one I just got, 4.30. And the DMC, 4.20. So this Carlo, despite having big face millings, is much lighter, or much heavier, which actually balances out this semi-kukri. I find that it fans very neutrally, it feels really good. There's a lot of good counterbalance in the handle ends for the blade tip. It feels like there's not a ton of weight hotspots, like it feels really good. And it kind of does everything I want it to do, albeit if you don't know, the Carlo is longer than machine-wise knives. This is a very long knife. It's one of the longest semi-regular Balisongs. I guess like the longest normal modern flipping Balisong, albeit there are a few that are longer than that, like the Kuno. Now this one, listen to the sound. I describe it's got like a ghostly ring to it. There's less handle weight, so I find that this is more blade heavy, albeit not blade biased. If it was blade biased, I wouldn't really be able to chaplain it. I do have to be more careful of the chaplains. I can't really whip it, because it will slide off, but it's just, you know, it's more blade heavy opposed to just being full-on blade biased. Like, you can't chaplain the Highbull Menace trainer or the Hypex trainer, because those are just fucking impossible to flip. And this, I believe Ross has the other one of these, but it's like slightly different. And then this is the DMC ring comparatively. This one is a much higher glassier ring. If you want a normal length knife, the DMC is much more common length. To compare the Carlo with the DMC, here are the lengths. You can see that the DMC is much shorter. Handles, sorry, I'm trying to line them up. The handles are also, I think, a little shorter. Old school Balisong, really like some long. And I agree, I like long Balisongs. I also like short, normal length Balisongs. But, yeah, the Carlo. So I started on a rant. I'm gonna get back on this rant because it's pertinent. Anyway, so I'm like, yeah, and while this is a worse flipper than this one, because there is less handle weight to compensate for this, like, kukri, it's like a very mild kukri. It's nice, it's elegant, it's not too crazy. Holy shit, the one in the Raindrop Devil was terrifying. Oh my fucking god. But, the thing about this is that while it's slightly, like, not as good of a flipper because there's less... it's more blade heavy, less handle weight. I mostly feel like I can flip this comfortably. Like, I feel the pull of the blade more when I do fans compared to on this one. I feel the rollovers are more... I have to be more careful with rollovers. And with chaplains too, I have to be a little bit more careful. I can't just... Like this one, this Carlo chaplain's very... I can chaplain it very confidently. Sir, I'm like concerned because I'm like not flipping it like next to you. Please, I love you so much. That's my son Kyo. He has no survival instincts. This Carlo chaplains, like I can chaplain it. I just have to be, you know, slower and wider because of the blade weight and the lack of handle weight. This one, on the other hand, I can chaplain this relatively confidently. Tits. And for comparison, here's the DMC. The DMC is probably the most conventional Hazetac knife. Unfortunately, due to the modding process and like some weird proprietary pivot screws or something, my DMC has more play than a stock DMC, which is just a little bit too bad. It had to do with the pivots being like unaligned when reinserted. Essentially, Hazetac, I feel like, has just really fucking good tolerances, and if you want a knife that is like kind of more Hazetac-y, the Carlos are great. They're really long. Again, they're longer than the Seraph. They're longer than all Machine-Wise knives. The Kuno is longer than it, but I think that's the only other knife I can think of. The DMC is more of a traditional knife, albeit it is very ringy, which is not for everyone, and I don't know, it's a very elegant knife, a very average weight at 4.2. I guess here's the Cygnus to compare the DMC with. The DMC is a little bit shorter than the Cygnus, so the DMC is actually on the shorter end. Here's a Vault Pro to compare. I'm gonna redo my Vault Pro review because it was really fucking shite. Yeah, it's actually on the shorter end. The Jigsaw is also on the shorter end too, which is interesting because Hazetac knives are like either a little short, like this, and the Jigsaw, which I have over there, or they're really fucking long, like the Carlo. Anyways, I really love the Carlo. If you want a Carlo, buy my Carlo. Buy this Carlo. I love this Carlo. This Carlo is legitimately a fantastic flipper. A better flipper than this one. But I'm keeping this one because I like cool, rare shit. I'm a collector, baby. But as a flipper, this thing's fucking great. And 4.5 ounces may seem heavy, but you'd be surprised how agile it is because it's really long. Like, what was it? There are knives that are longer than this that are about the same. Sorry, there are knives that are like the same weight, but they're not as long, and so they feel a lot heftier when you flip them around. But because of just how long it is, it just doesn't feel like you're really flinging around a much mass. Like this knife just flips really easily. I do know that someone was like, I had to sell my Machine-Wise knives because I just don't have big hands. And that's really sad because Machine-Wise knives they're just really good. You know? And, you know, I think Hazetac knives are really good too. So, anyways, this custom Balisong, really cool, albeit kind of coarse design. Some elements of, like, similar to the Jesus Devil. Like, this is the Hazetac logo up here. I honestly don't really know. This might have to do with Vergil from Devil May Cry. This choil is just higher. It's got the speed channel, which gives it this very ghostly ring. I don't know why my video camera is not focusing at all in this video, but look how fucking gorgeous this is. Again, to just reiterate, made by Hazetac, originally designed by Old School Balisong, redesigned by Ross, last name I don't remember, Cerakoted by Major Rouse, and assembled and tuned by Bally Jesus. Really solid tune, very minimal play. There's just a tiny amount of play on the safe handle, even less so on the bite handle, and I think it's great. I think the regular Carlo, there's only 2 of these in the world, and this one's slightly different from the one that Ross has, and the regular Carlo is just a better flipper. So if you want a Carlo, I don't know, tell Hazetac to make more Carlos. He doesn't need to redesign it. He just needs to fucking make them and sell them. And because you can't get one right now, buy my Carlo, please. It's really good. I just need the money because I had to buy this before I had the money from selling this. Like, comment, subscribe. I have another video on the Carlo. I have another video on the DMC. I have unboxings for both of these. I have also unboxing for the Raindrop Devil and the Jigsaw. I have a review of the Jigsaw. I don't know if I've made reviews for these. I will double check those, and if I haven't, I will, because they're really good. But a lot of those are also still going to have me yelling at Hazetac to check his fucking DMs. Thank you for tuning in. I really like these knives. I want more people to be able to experience them. And again, those who have, just keep collecting them because they're really fucking good. Anyways, happy flipping, everyone. Enjoy this marvel that I'm never going to get rid of. And, yeah, happy flipping.